Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, July 28th, and welcome back to your WWE Raw Recap. Today, we'll be going over everything that happened during last night's show for Monday Night Raw. Let's jump right into the action, starting off with the opening segment, which saw Adam Pearce in the ring with the Hell in a Cell cage being lowered around the ring. They were setting up to have an official weigh-in for the Brock vs. Oba match, and started by bringing out Oba Femi, who, as expected, weighed in with no issues at a whopping 301 pounds. Then Brock Lesnar came out with Paul Heyman, and when Brock got to the door of the cage, he closed it and locked it from the outside and began taunting Oba, while Paul Heyman started talking on the mic and declared that under no circumstances would Brock be entering a cage or ring until SummerSlam, and that he already stepped on a scale in the back and he weighed in at 303 pounds. Very convenient weigh in there. Following the opening segment, we saw a tag team match involving the Vision versus Alpha Academy. The Vision took the win in what was essentially a 4-on-2 situation, with Maxine and Logan Paul providing ample distractions. After the match, the Vision continued their assault on Otis and Tozawa, which resulted in Otis taking a nasty chair shot to the face and head area. After that tag match, we got to see a very bouncy Javon Evans take a victory against Rusev. Then, in arguably the most divisive segment of the night, we had our promised Joe Hendry concert, who was accompanied by Danhausen to debut their new hit single, You Are Cursed. The concert saw much fanfare, as they were in Los Angeles, and included the dance team of NBA basketball team LA Clippers. This allowed boxing superstar Ryan Garcia to dance his way into the ring and appear friendly as he picked up one of Joe Hendry's guitars, and then proceeded to smash it over Joe's back, which then allowed JD McDonough and Dirty Dom to launch an attack on Danhausen. This would lead to a later segment backstage between Danhausen and Adam Pearce, in which a human monies on a pole match type was set up between Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio for SummerSlam. Be interesting to see what that is. And then we have Ethan Page and Rey Mysterio having another great match, and this ended up being an extremely technical match that really showcased Ethan Page's wrestling abilities, and he ended up actually taking the victory over Rey Mysterio. We got to see then Jimmy and Jey Uso coming out to address the crowd and give one last warning shot to their opponents for SummerSlam. Solo Sikoa interrupted them and proceeded to flame the bloodline, and says that he is doing just fine away from the family and wants to stay where he's at. LA Knight then came out to also make fun of the bloodline in a way only LA Knight can, and this led to Solo and LA leading an attack on Jay and Jimmy in the ring, only to have Jacob Fatu come out to gain the advantage, which then led to Royce Keys coming out and having a massive showdown and slugfest between him and Jacob Fatu. Eventually, Solo, LA, and Royce would gain and keep the advantage and clear out the ring, setting up what is going to be an extremely explosive and violent match at SummerSlam. In the main event match of the night, we saw Sol Ruca defending her women's Intercontinental title against Raquel Rodriguez. While there was a lot of distractions and interference from the women of the Judgment Day, including an attempted save from Io Sky, Raquel Rodriguez would eventually seal the victory over Sol Ruca and claim her very first singles title. And finally, last but certainly not least, we had Roman Reigns come out to the ring, and he wasn't even allowed to get his "acknowledge me" phrase out before Seth freaking Rollins' music hits. Seth walks down to the ring, gets right in Roman's face, and steals his "acknowledge me" line, clearly continuing his mental assault on the OTC. Seth claims that he has and always will be in the head of Roman, and aside from all of the accolades and money and deals, he will always be a better professional wrestler than Roman. Roman tried to answer back on the mic, but could tell the time for talking was done, and launched an attack on Seth. Seth took the brief assault, then leaned up against the ropes, showing his back to Roman, very much like the setup when Seth put a steel chair in Roman's back during their Shield run. Well, this allowed time for Roman to slide out of the ring to get a steel chair of his own. When Roman went to slide back into the ring, Seth hit him with a stomp out of nowhere right onto the steel chair, probably just like he planned from the very beginning. And that was how the show ended for the night. And that's going to take us into the ending of our recap. Be sure to check out our full show, Talk to the Bell, tomorrow at 3:30. For now, though, my name is Easy E, and this has been your WWE Raw Recap.